Suyin's only daughter, Opal, happens to be the airbender. Man, what are the chances that Toph's granddaughter would be one of the golden ticket winners too? The universe really does care. Opal's a sweet gal, a real gem you could say.
No.
Nonetheless, as a character, very little going on here. It's pretty noticeable she was invented as an excuse to go to Zaofu, but better yet, as a love interest for Bolin. In this new, current age, designing a female character just to be arm candy? These absolute shit lads. I knew they still had it in them. Not that every character needs to be dimensional, multifaceted, or have some grand arc or something.
I will have my revenge!
But introducing yet more side characters shouldn't be the priority when you haven't had the time to give the main characters diddly. Lin has been the only one to see some development thus far. Of all characters, Lin, and at the expense of Toph.
I'm gonna send a note to Toph. Yep, we're idiots.
Fine, if you're not going to focus on character writing, the plot had better be exciting. Except it's just been Team Korra flying around with the aim of finding random nameless people. The two who actually get names, Kai and now Opal, are largely brushed aside anyway. Like why? Why would you write it like this? Opal will have less to do in this book than Asami did in book 1 by a long shot. Which is probably for the best so the poor girl doesn't end up in some hacky love triangle with Eska or something. But still, damn. The stakes feel so low currently, they've been hammered into the ground. There's a vague awareness among the gang that Korra's being hunted by terrorists.
She's just a little worried because there were a bunch of crazy criminals after me.
But only Lin acts like this is a credible issue.
We need to get Korra out of here immediately.
Why is my life in danger? Seems like wherever I go, I make a new enemy.
But you made some new friends, too. Be careful out there.
Later, Nick!
You know, I sure thought I heard Fire Lord Zuko say these Red Lotus guys were strong enough to take down the entire world.
They could take down the entire world.
So then why is Korra hanging around Zaofu, eating fancy dinners like she hasn't a care in said world? Shouldn't she be actively doing something about this? You know, since her duty is to this world? And no one gives a shit about the Earth Queen's threat or her rampant corruption.
I will bear down on you with the entire force of my kingdom.
No, guys, the most important thing right now, at this present moment, is to teach Opal airbending. Definitely. Cute girls first, the world second.
Learn to live with it.
So Korra gets to teaching her. Opal, of course, gets airbending instantly. Wow, Tenzin really was just a terrible teacher.
You're a terrible teacher!
Yeah, you're a terrible teacher, Daddy.
In return, Suyin teaches Korra metal bending, and of course, she also gets it instantly.
I'm metal bending. I can airbend?
Wow, you picked that up really quick.
I feel you, bro. But hey, she is the Avatar.
Congratulations. You're the first metal-bending avatar.
Wait, excuse me, but Aang knew seismic sense, the ability that led to metal bending's discovery. If Aang got the hang of that in under a year, how did he never figure out metal bending for a lifetime?
What I'd give to be a metal bender.
Nothing!
That shit makes no sense to me. Putting down my boy ain't gonna uplift Korra.
Leave him alone!
Okay, I've been flirting with it, but this needs to be addressed more thoroughly, so here goes. Bending in the Avatar universe has broken, and it's broken bad.
I am the one who knocks up.
Let's start with the metal bending. Once again, metal bending used to be an adaptation of Toph's seismic sense. She would touch the metal, sense the fragments of earth within it, then bend those fragments, thereby contorting the metal. There was a strong, easy-to-follow logic to it that restricted the bending to Toph's abilities and differentiated it from normal earth bending. Then all that was thrown the fuck out in Korra Episode 1. When metal bending was used to turn the cops into Spider-Man. Metal bending has since been entirely disconnected from seismic sense. No one needs it, and half surprisingly, very few Korra characters use it. Additionally, there's no need to be in direct contact with the metal to bend it like before. Then ER, how does metal bending work now? Good question, nerd. Within the Legend of Korra, this is all we get.
Try to focus on the fine pieces of earth within the metal.
Oh, so all it takes is some focus. Because if there's anything Korra excels at, it's focusing.
I think I'm doing it wrong.
She doesn't even have to be in direct contact with the metal within the day. Imagine if Toph could have crushed the Fire Nation soldiers' skulls in their helmets with just a little bit of focus.
Yeah, let's break some heads.
Well, unfortunately, this isn't a Korra-centric problem, and I have to criticize my beloved Avatar. In its finale, amongst the many problems I have with it, we had the first instance of broken metal bending. First, Toph suited up as Iron Man, which was hard as fuck. But then despite suiting up, in theory to get closer to the soldiers, she bent a bunch of metal from a good distance anyway, for the first time. Which was... might as well have magnetoed every soldier out the windows if she could do that. But she couldn't see them to do that because she's on metal, right? I'm afraid not, Nerd-kun. She one-hit targeted every single one of the soldiers just fine. Hell, I don't even think she was using seismic sense. In this shot, her feet are covered by her armor. Hallelujah, Toph's blindness was cured. Makes you wonder why she was letting Sokka hold her hand. Maybe she just liked it.
Come on, we gotta move! I don't know how to run without holding my hand!
Truth be told, I think these were just oversights. And unfortunately, Bright seemingly never thought of these as problems and just reinforced them in Korra, removing both the direct contact and seismic sense restrictions to make all metal bending overtly accessible and insanely OP. Think of all the wild applications metal bending could have now, because Bright sure didn't. For instance, it's just silly, frankly, that Saito could fly his fleet of airplanes into Republic City without metallic projectiles eviscerating them or getting straight up telekinesis into the ocean. No other type of bending army in the world could possibly face down a metal bender one, well, except maybe a lightning bending army, since lightning bending was also stripped of all its limitations. It's so basic now and lacking any of the associated risks or danger, it's considered menial labor.
Don't talk to the commoners, Katara.
Basic supply and demand. Makochu ain't rich, so the demand for his kind must be low, and the supply too damn high, which means any old hotman can separate the energies of yin and yang. They don't even do the same type of lightning bending anymore. The old head lightning benders had to arc that shit, guide it, like Iroh said.
You do not command it. You are simply its humble guide.
Actually, oh man, now you just point and zippity zappity zoo. Wait, with gloves on? Alright, this is some hand-wringing nitpickery, but ain't these fire hazards? The bolts should be burning through these things constantly. It's almost like the gloves were just an aesthetic choice for the factory worker look. And like everything else about Republic City, that was the end of that thought process.
You never think these things through.
And let's not forget what they did to bloodbending. Never mind a full moon, they don't need the moon at all anymore. Bloodbending can be just as easily used during daytime. And worse, it can be done without going through any of the actual motions of waterbending if the user forces it hard enough. Pure telekinesis. Alright nerds, your time to shine. Give me the most boring but endlessly regurgitated defense people trot out for the Legend of Korra's changes to the elemental sub-skills.
Because times have changed in 80-something years, and benders have found better, more efficient ways to use the sub-skills, right?
Exactly. And tell me, nerd, what's wrong with this line of logic?
Well, it only seems to apply to the sub-skills, but curiously not regular bending.
Bingo bango, buddy boy. I've seen far too many Korra fans assume lightning bending was something new in Avatar, and you know what they say about assuming. It makes an ass out of you and Ming. Well, I guess she kind of is an ass. A red lotus. Lightning bending is never implied to be a newer technique, but a more advanced one, as it was practically the inversion of regular fire bending. According to Iroh, it was limited to people who could sense and separate the yin-yang energies around them, and had the inner tranquility and peace of mind to properly guide said energies.
To perform the technique requires peace of mind.
So it appeared that, from an already small pool of people, you also had to be one of two types: wise and self-assured like Iroh, or a psychopath like Ozai and Azula.
It is precise and deadly, like Azula.
Mako was never portrayed as any of these things. He's more of a troubled youth trying to figure shit out, at least when they dedicate any time to develop his character. You think all these guys are yin-yang masters and have reached a state of zen working their 9 to 5? What about this mob guy? Plain old psychopath?
You're gonna regret doing that, pal!
Damn, it feels bad to be a gangster. Shit.
Bloodbending is iffier, admittedly. Part of the time, Mahama acts as if she discovered bloodbending herself, but she also calls it a water tribe tradition.
So you can carry on the southern tradition when I'm gone.
Our family has the strongest line of bloodbenders in history.
Whatever the case may be, wisely, the writers used the full moon as a cap on bloodbending, so it couldn't be used to fuck anyone whenever and wherever. Screwing that cap off goes way past efficiency, all the way to a godlike power you'd better hope no other psychopaths ever come across. Oh, whoops. Metal bending is the only verifiably new subskill in Avatar, invented by Toph. And as I've already said, the Legend of Korra removed everything that made it unique and balanced enough so we didn't have insanely OP metal benders everywhere making mincemeat of the Fire Nation during the war. And that's just the elemental subskills. Why doesn't regular bending ever get updated too? Pretty sure it's been hundreds of years since the last patch, so where is Bending Series X, huh? Like, why hasn't the secret of the origin of firebending progressed from dancing?
It's not a dance.
To just point and boom like lightning. Though I'd be remiss not to mention that one time Zuko just fucking glared his way out of an ice prison like a total chad.
You found a master, haven't you?
Sorry, my fellow Avatar copers, let's be real. This ain't the Breath of Fire move, no matter how you slice it. Azula got gypped. Why can't earthbenders just punch or flick their wrist and shazam or bam, like metal bending? What's with all the kicking and shit they're still doing?
But ER, didn't Boomy earthbend with just his chin during the solar eclipse?
Okay, he was one of the most powerful earthbenders and over a century old. He's allowed to get away with that.
But
Boomy gets to do that, okay?
Okay, whatever you say.
Yes, whatever I say. And why can't waterbenders just turn any opponent to ice with a cold look? Or simply shoot water wherever they want with a flick of the wrist or just pointing again? It's been thousands of years, right? And no more development? Get good, scrubs. Oh, I forgot we're in the new age. The premise of this damn book is literally that bending gets patched. New airbenders got dragged and dropped into the world like we're playing the fucking Sims. And their element is so spontaneous and irrepressible, the Dai are able to detect and collect this many within like, what, a month or two at most? They can also force these newbies to airbend when both parties should have zero knowledge of what the fuck they're doing. Airbending is so ridiculously manageable, the new benders frequently do it by accident.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I still don't have any control.
I could understand these being nitpicks if it happened once or twice or thrice, even thrice. But folks, it's over and over and over again, unfailingly.
That's one too many.
Bending could always be done by accident, I ain't saying otherwise. It sets off the events of Avatar. But it was also always by people with at least some experience getting their chi to flow so they were able to influence their element in the first place. This is how Aang never inadvertently bent an element before being shown how, or outside of the Avatar state. Not once. Like there was a reason the Avatar was tested as a child through the memories of their past lives' favorite toys, and not their bending abilities. And that reason being to rip off the Dalai Lama selection tests. However, I'm willing to bet the writers probably didn't imagine the avatars were bending multiple elements before their training either. One would have hoped Bright would eventually scale bending back again from this crazy ease of access and use, but this just doesn't happen. In book 3, they and the writers triple down, said to hell with it. It really is so simple a toddler can do it.
The controls are busted.
Metal bending can be learned in seconds. Since air bending is as effortless as passing gas, I'm surprised we haven't gotten a scene where the baby just rips one so powerful it sends Pema through a wall or something. I know The Legend of Korra is so much more mature and all, but we all know it ain't above jokes like that. By the way, I officially take back that shameful excuse I made for Zahir. He probably didn't know shit, just pulled the bending out of his ass like everyone else does now. Which means broken as fuck metal bending should be allowed to proliferate like crazy with all the wrist flicking exertion of magic, just without the wands.
It's not magic.
No, it's pretty much magic at this point, Katara.
Magic!
Hey, a little more Ava trivia for you. Did you know? In all of Avatar The Last Airbender, there exist only 2 instances in which characters refer to bending as a power, like a superpower. First was in the first episode when Sokka mocked Katara's bending lecture.
I'm just saying that if I had weird powers, I'd keep my weirdness to myself.
Second was this scene between Katara and the deserter, Zhang Zhang.
You're a great master. You have powers I'll never know.
Otherwise, the word power was only ever used in reference to the power drawn from Sozin's comet, the moon, the sun, then to the fearsome Avatar state, or as a measurement of strength.
Even with all the power in the world.
I don't think this was any accident, because bending basically is superpowers to us audience members, so it'd be an easy thing to refer to them as such, and I'm sure I have many times throughout my videos for the sake of simplicity, but the writers steadfastly avoided this. As in universe, bending wasn't considered some superpower. It was mastering one's chi to manipulate the elements, something that required proficiency and a whole bunch of training. Yeah, it was still just a magic system at the end of the day, but damn if it wasn't one of the cooler ones, particularly for a kid's show.
We've heard that, a lot of kids have picked up on that. They appreciate the fact that Aang has to earn these talents. He isn't just granted them.
I truly believe at least someone on the writing team understood what they had here and made sure bending was strictly referred to as bending, or as a skill, never just a power.
This is not a power you have. It's not about lifting rocks.
This writer's a genius.
To their credit, they even kept this up in The Legend of Korra, until The Legend of Wan, when one of the apparent sources of all bending casually referred to bending as a power.
The power is yours. Keep the power.
You already carry the power. Rava must hold the power for you.
We will no longer give humans the power.
What a long-ass streak to just toss in the trash. A reminder, this is how Iroh referred to fire.
Fire is the element of power.
So this dude really just said,
Please, grant us the power of power.
And then the power of power was treated as, well, imagine my shock, a superpower. It required no study, no physical or mental practice. It was a gift that sprung straight away to one's fingertips at will. A stroke of luck that Aang's pacifism made it so he never threw a single punch before. Katara would have been toast.
But ER, you know what they're gonna say. Definitely not someone like me, but you know, they'll say, progress is inevitable. The hell with your progress. If this is progress, I don't fucking want it.
Unfortunately, progress has a way of getting away from us.
Even Sokka sarcastically understood bending better than Korra fans do in Avatar's very first episode.
An ancient art unique to our culture, blah, blah, blah.
That's right, an ancient art designed around real martial art forms that have been passed down for hundreds of thousands of years that have become embedded so deeply into Avatar's lore that they shaped its four cultures. Back in the day, young ER thought that was the coolest shit.
That was totally wicked!
Come on, where's my dancing? Where's my sense of effort and study? Where's my tradition?
We have to go back.
We've come a long, long way from this.
I've been breathing for hours. I want to know how to shoot fire out of my fingertips.
That all changed when somebody attached. You know who I'm talking about.
I can't keep dealing with it!
That's right. M. Night Shyamalan-san with his acclaimed Avatar movie adaptation, The Last Airbender.
The reviews in America have been pretty harsh, but does that affect the way you move on to number 2?
Well, no.
You remember this scene, don't you, viewer? When Iroh tested the Avatar's elemental influence through subconscious bending. There's a low-hanging joke here with the words rock and erection, but it's just too hard. Personally, in my subjective view, and this is just my opinion, I didn't think this was a very good movie. Burning hot take, I know, but that's just how I felt. Sue me. Right, though? Well, they're free to like what they like.
How could you miss? It was 3 feet in front of you!
Obviously, they thought this bending by instinct concept was too good not to borrow, and so a couple years later, they paid clear tribute to the night vision in the very first scene of Korra. How cute. Can't wait to see how this translates to their live-action Avatar.
It's not the first time it had ever happened that a project was horribly adapted in Hollywood. It's not the last time it's going to happen. It might even happen to us again.
Come on, guys. Well, okay, in fairness, there's exactly one time a virginal bender doesn't do it by chance, without training, or on their first attempt, and that's Bolin with metal bending.
I can't metal bend.
Despite his best efforts, even when he desperately needs it, he just can't bend steel beams. And we all know fire can't melt them, right, Mako?
It's probably better if I sit this one out.
Could this be? Bending a new element or a sub-element isn't something you can immediately pick up, even in dire circumstances? Shit, Break, I'm sorry. For a moment there, I doubted you.
You're a lava bender. I know. I just found out.
But that's skipping ahead a bit. Trying to keep things mostly sequential here. And let me tell you, we're 6 episodes into this book, and I still really ain't convinced this is the good one many say it is.
Where's the meat?
Well, hey, maybe these next episodes have exactly what I'm looking for. Let's trudge on.
Let's just get moving.
Opal wants to go to the Northern Air Temple with the others, and Suyin's cool with it. Cool.
Cooler!
And so concludes episode 6. We're practically halfway there. But not in my script, oh no.